The World ECDIS Day, which is named the Maritime Data Centers Fleet Monitoring. My name is Frank Burger. I am the navigation consultant within Chartworld, and as such, one of my main tasks is to help customers in their implementation process of our products in their system. And so one of those issues about maritime data centers is how to incorporate that into the owner system. Together with my colleague Florian Frieseke, who is the product manager of Myra, which is part of the NavCloud concept, we're happy now to do this presentation. We have only a few slides to show what is the entire concept as such, and thereafter we go directly then to the live system as such, so to say. So the agenda is a very brief one for the next 2 minutes, next 2 hours. Sorry. Sure. There's another chair over there. First of all, we will talk about My Fleet, which is our maritime database, being part of the entire NavCloud concept, and we come to that in details in a minute. Then we will have from Siemens Energy a HoloLens demo. That is a fancy stuff, you know, with a Google, which you have artificial or some stuff inside where you I don't know how to explain this properly. There's like a
hologram.
Hologram things.
Just push information inside to give guidance for an engineer or something. You can, for example, say you need to give a guidance to instruct very technical things, and you can have the construction plans and stuff like this, and pop-in messages instantly for maintenance on board, for example.
So we will have the operator of Siemens Energy here, and we will have a guy with his HoloLens on board ship, and then we'll see how this will work. And then last but not least, we have from Raytheon, we have the electronic logbook that will do a small presentation then at the end of this session. If we start with the My Fleet of Chartworld, the topic here is the Maritime Data Center, right? And Chartworld has created a solution for that, which is named NavCloud. That one consists of 3 main features. Number 1 is an ECDIS, preferably a connected ECDIS. As you can see here on the lower left side of the picture, it is named eGlobe. It does not need essentially to be the ECDIS from Chartworld. It could be also a ECDIS from a third-party provider. Then we go to My Fleet. This is our maritime data center, which I will refer to. Then in the following, after we have finished with the slides, I'm going to go to the live system and show you the features of that. And last but not least, we go also to My Fleet, or we talk a little about My Fleet being the third component of this NavCloud system. Myra, it stands for My Route Appraisal. So this is an automated voyage data tool creating, using algorithm, a voyage as per the requirements from the user. This is the number 1 feature of Myra. Number 2 feature is then that it acts as the e-data delivery tool in purpose of navigation. Going further, this is the workflow, how NavCloud is being created. And we see lots of entities of stakeholders there, and we see lots of stages where we're coming from a pre-planning until the post-voyage analytics. A little bit confusing, a little bit dense picture, so to say. So what we did, we split this into pieces. So we come to the picture number 1. This is the pre-planning, right? At the very beginning of a voyage, what will happen? The operation department or the chartering desk will look after a vessel to go to port A, and will make a schedule planning with Myra to see if or not the vessel is there in time. In the following then, the operation department and or the marine department will ask the vessel to do a voyage plan. In our system here, take into mind again, this Maritime Data Center in the background, we're using one tool which is talking to the other tool. Means Myra, being the voyage planning tool on board ship, is talking then to the data center in the background and looking at the voyage plan, which is requested in a later stage in use on board ship, is exactly the same the office has available. So we're talking about collaborative voyage plan. We're talking about that everybody has the same data in mind. Everybody has the same data whereupon you then make your decisions. So number one was the pre-planning. We go further then to the voyage planning. Number two, so the planning is then being done by Myra. And after a mask, it takes the navigator about 10 minutes to fill this out. After the voyage request mask has been filled out, it will be uploaded into the nav cloud. So the voyage plan, the draft of the voyage plan, so to say, is already available in the nav cloud. It is already available for the office as well, and then once it's being created, also available for the ship. The data will come directly to the ECDIS, respectively if you have a connected ECDIS, or if you don't have that, you transfer the data via a USB stick to your ECDIS. Customizing the route is then the next step. Doing this on board ship, you may adjust the route the way you find it appropriate. You may have a captain which is saying, please give any boy a distance of a cable or 2 cables, whatever it could be. So you're adjusting the route. And making, last but not least, then after you have customized your route, you're making the ECDIS route check. And you find if or not the ECDIS is safe. You do this if you are happy and the captain has approved the route, and you upload it again to the nav cloud. So the finalized voyage plan is available on board ship as well as it is available offshore. And if you are, and then here we're coming again to all the stakeholders, if you have a charterer, a good relationship to your charterer, and you want to let the charterer participate in this process, you may even provide charterers with the information you have also available on your desk. Last but not least, you go then in the voyage execution, and that is then the big circle where you start voyaging. We're coming to number 4. While being in the voyage, we have, from a technical manager perspective, 2 departments being involved. This is number 1, the marine department, and the operation or chartering desk, however you name that. Number 1 is, we found some cases in the near past, and one of those is the CMA CGM Libra, where it appears to be preferable to make a due diligence in terms of checking if or not the voyage plan is defective. And I'm coming to that in course of the presentation. So here's the chance to do it without exchange email in our system, in this Maritime Data Center system, to do the due diligence in the voyage plan without exchanging emails, because everybody has the same baseline, everybody has the same data available. Continuous voyage monitoring, the system will check, will poll the ships each 15 minutes, so you have the position of the ship on your system, and even more, and we will come to that. And, you know, in case that the ship will be ask to change the course, to change the voyage, then you, again, via the system, you ask for a Myra voyage change request to crew. Number 5 is then the post-voyage analytics. So system can be used not only for the voyage monitoring now, but also for incident investigation, also for remote navigational audit. We know in times where we are now in, apparently with COVID-19, where we are in inconvenient trades, sometimes it's difficult to visit the ship. So we have the option to start a remote navigational audit with that system. And saying that, we also assessing then the bridge team performance. So this was already the slides. Just as a very brief background, what the nav cloud concept as such is about in total. As I said, it is the ECDIS, it is Myra, and this is my fleet. And we're coming now to the Maritime Data Center in a way that we open up the system. So, and we start with that picture here. So it's a web application, as you can see, and it starts with your fleet, with the section, with the sequence of your ships. you're responsible for. And we have only entered here now 3 ships, so it's quite, it's easy to see. If you would have 10 ships, it might be even more complicated. The idea here behind is we have a traffic light system, right? So we simply see if or not one of these vessels may have potentially a problem, may have potentially not sufficient ENC data on board for the intended voyage, as you can see here with this row. ADP, AENP the same. So does the vessel for the intended voyage has all the e-navigation data available in order to comply with SOLAS or not? The traffic light symbol will guide you through. A green one says yes. We don't have a status for Cray, and well, since this is a demo database only, as you can see on the vessel's names, you don't find any reds here. Red would be something you look in immediately in, right? The active status you have down here. So with an eCloak Connect or with a connected active scan in general, you will find if or not your active is working properly, and you will find the health status down here. Voyage plan status, the system will only give you the indication green if the MIRA was involved in the voyage planning. This means MIRA was used on board ship, it was sent to shore, it was amended on board ship again, and then it will be displayed as a green light here. To the safety alerts, we will come here in the following. The idea here behind is it working? Yeah. The idea here behind is, if you're looking on this list from an audit perspective, what do we have presently? If we audit a ship, what do we do? Once per year, we go to the ship because the company is saying once per year you have to audit the ship and check if or not the crew is doing what you expect them to do, if they are following the company procedures, or maybe on a tanker, you do it even twice a year. But this is a planned process, right? You don't make it condition-based. If you compare this with a maintenance system as such, then in general you see maintenance, there are two strategies, right? You have a condition-based maintenance and you have a plant maintenance. In auditing, you have only plant maintenance. I'm missing a little bit in our industry the condition-based audit. I should visit a vessel prior an incident happened. Then this would be, from my point of view, condition-based. Presently, what we are doing is, a condition-based audit is after an incident. I have an incident and condition the incident. I go on board ship and I do my incident investigation. I check for what happened here. I'm looking after safeguards, corrective actions, looking after trying to avoid a reoccurrence, things like that. A proactive system like this, if we would have 10 vessels here, and you find one vessel which has only red lights, this would enable you to take care immediately about this vessel and not starting like a plant system going from up to down, and maybe the last vessel is the troublemaker, the potential one, and then it might run into trouble already while you're still dealing with the first ships, rather than going directly to the troublemaker, the potential troublemaker ship, and telling this one, I don't understand, Captain, what you're doing there. Actually, your plan was different than what you're doing during the execution now. And here we're coming to the safety alerts. If we go now to a screen, we go like this. What do we see? We see here apparently our fleet, which are consisting of 3 vessels. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Oops. Florida, yeah, here, right? we have all those there, right? Perfect. And we choose one of those vessels now by going and having it here highlighted in red. As I said, MIRA, at the very first instance, this MyRoute appraisal, this automatic voyage tool, offers the crew a voyage from A to B. In our example here, we left La Coruña and we are going to New York. This vessel, this route was offered to the crew, and the crew is now customizing the route and checking if or not they are happy with this route or amend it as applicable. Step number 2 is we got this planned route now. So this is now the route which is being approved by the captain and was sent back to the office. And we see there is a difference. Now the question is, in general, does our ship follow its own voyage plan or not? I mean, if I do voyage planning, I would expect that crew is following the voyage plan, unless, I don't know, do you have a distress call or, something else. We don't talk about going a mile left, going a mile right, port starboard from the track. We're talking about general things. If we go back to the Vacascio case, for instance, this Vacascio was apparently this bulk carrier of Mauritius. In the middle of the Indian Ocean, the vessel changed course. And you can see this easily on the marine traffic history reports. There is a good picture available in the internet. In the middle of the ocean, suddenly she turned to starboard and she headed more closely to Mauritius. Apparently, as we found out, captain was looking for a network for mobile. Well, he deviated significantly, apparently, from its route. I don't know, but I trust the orders were to go to South Africa, to South America via South Africa, via Cape, without doing any deviation. And you find it after, in the middle of the ocean, south of Gaul, she turning starboard, and nobody's recognizing that. Nobody was aware of that. As I said, the captain was looking for a mobile network, and there were rumors in the very beginning in the air saying, there was somebody having birthday on board ship, and they had a little party, and they're going a little bit closer. And what a nice captain! He's offering this guy who has birthday to talk to the families. In course of the hearing in the court on Mauritius, it came to light that this was the standard procedure. The captain always did this. Whenever he went from A to B, high sea, whenever he had the chance, he deviated significantly from the passage plan, and he got closer to shore in order to provide or to get mobile network. And so this was his standard procedure. Accelerating to that, in Mauritius, the ship came close to the coastline with a general ENC, with an ENC cell which has a scale of general, so which is not applicable for coastal navigation. And it ended up at the very end in a total loss of the vessel. And in the pollution, as we all know. Thankfully, nobody was injured. The court was inquiring then against the ship manager. Dear Mr. Ship Manager, why didn't you tell the vessel, or why didn't you inquire that against your ship's command? Why didn't you ask you, what do you do? Why do you deviate? Do you have the appropriate e-navigation data available for your deviation? Do you have something like that? The answer of the ship manager of the Japanese was, we don't know where the vessel is. We don't know. The vessel is leaving the port, and then we get position reports. But we don't track the vessel. We don't know exactly where it is. There is no legal requirement to do that. We all know that. But the court was quite unhappy about that, and it was the sentence they were saying was, You can track a parcel from DHL, which is worth €5, but you don't track your vessel, which is worth $100 million. Why don't you do that? With our system here, you may check if or not the vessel remains on the planned route. As you can see here, and again, it's a DEMO database, as you can see here, vessel is still within good within the track. In case vessel would deviate significantly from its own route, from its planned route, and there should be always a good reason if you deviate from your planned route, then you may be alerted by a safety alert. And we're going down here to the settings now and see the alert settings, and we see here a small bar. In this small bar, you decide simply to what extent. When do you want to be alarmed, you in the office? if the vessel would significantly deviate. This is another feature, from my understanding, for a marine data center. They're all on one, we're all talking about the same data, and there are no surprises anymore. We have the crew is working with the same voyage plan as the shore side is working. The ECDIS, how it is being used on board ship, is displayed in the office as well. So everybody is on the same page. In this system, in case you would significantly deviate, and I need to look for that now. There is, I think it was that one. Make yes and make. Yeah. Here we come. Then you will get simply a notification saying your vessel is a little bit away from the track. What do you do? 1.5 nautical miles. Don't let us discuss about that, if this is reasonable or not. Let's take 20, 30, 50 miles, whatever it could be, something. The idea behind is at least you have the option, you have the possibility to talk to the captain and asking, why do you deviate? Do you have a good reason for it? Rather than waiting the incident to happen, because not knowing where the ship is, and at the end you have a big disaster. So this is how we see in our system this Ocasio case being dealt with. We had also, we're going back in this now. Now the next question is, the planned route was given back. Now what would happen if suddenly the captain decides, don't take me wrong, but charterers are always picky, and whenever you do a deviation nowadays, this causes always a lot of discussion. So captain might say, why should I report back to the office that I will deviate? I simply change my course in my ECDIS, and then we go back to the track at a later stage. And here we come to this ECDIS route, and going like this, I make this again just to make it clear. So now this is actually the route I have monitored presently in my ECDIS. Switch on, planned route, both together, so they are in line. So the ECDIS route being monitored in the ECDIS, exactly the same as it is the one, and here we go with my system, with my ECDIS, it's exactly the same one as it is in our fleet monitoring tool, in our Maritime data center. If we go now for this, and let us play a little bit around to check this. So I have the route, World ECDIS date update 1, right? I go in the planning mode. I take the World ECDIS day route 1. This means 12 miles is maybe a little bit encouraging to cross the ocean. So let's go like this. Right, going in again. Can I get it? Take the next one, go like this. We make save. Yes. Yes. And if then, shortly thereafter, we will see that also the ECDIS route here in our system will be changed. We will see this in the course of the presentation then. We don't need to wait now for that. It's about, 2 minutes it will take, something like that. So this is how we look after if or not vessels are doing what we expect them to do. I'm not talking about micromanagement here. I don't think this is already micromanagement. I think we need to have simply safeguards in place in order to make sure that we don't suffer from incidents which are easily be avoidable. And not all ship managers, I would say even only a handful have a fleet operations center with designated persons behind the desk and looking after performance of the ships. Costa Concordia is a good example, Carnival Maritime here in Hamburg, their operations center. That's a little bit, here starts micromanagement. Here in the system, in this Maritime data center, you simply see the minimum information you need to see in order to make sure you're not running into trouble. This you don't do only for the actual voyage, you do this also for the historical voyages. Because all the historical voyages, if you look after, now we're coming to the point of incident investigation, you may be in need of to do, then you see here any historical voyage will be saved here as well. Going further, going away from this Vacascio case, going away from the story about deviating without letting anybody know and don't check if or not appropriate ENC data is available on board ship, there's also another issue, which is the case CMA CGM Libra, right? Just to summarize this case very short, it was apparently a container ship from CMA CGM. She was outbound CMM. It was back in 2012. There was a T-notice available that was saying in very rough words, don't leave the fairway, we have uncharted shoals, we have uncharted rocks, this is an ex-minefield, depths are unreliable, blah, 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 this kind of stuff. Don't leave the fairway. The pilot was dropped, and we just had a discussion about that, Mr. Petit, because you've been there already, and the pilot was dropped in the middle of the fairway, not at the end of the fairway, and the captain immediately decided to leave the fairway, make a shortcut, vessel run aground. So vessel was run aground on an uncharted shoal. Oops, here we go. So system is proven to work. My connected actors was grounded on an uncharted shoal. The owners in the following then declared general average, right? And they intended, that the cargo interests are participating in this general average. What else? 92% of the cargo interests were happy and were saying, yeah, we will participate in general average. 8% were saying, no, we do not. What was their concern? They were saying the ship was unseaworthy. They were claiming that. Why did they claim that? Because they're saying the passage plan which was used by ship was defective. It was not used properly. It didn't contain all the information it should contain, since it did not contain on the ENC, but also not on in the passage plan as such, that T-notice. It didn't contain that. Would have the captain known about this T-notice, he would not have left the fairway. The incident would not have happened. That's how the cargo side was saying that. The ship side was saying, or the owner side was saying, well, we declare general average under Haag-Wisby rules, and under the Haag-Wisby rules, a navigational underperformance is excluded. So it cannot be claimed that the ship is unseaworthy. But then the court was coming, and this was the first court case, don't quote me on that, maybe it was 2016 or something. It was the Admiralty Court of Justice, which was saying in a sentence that the ship is indeed unseaworthy, since the passage plan was defective, and the passage plan, to check the passage plan is a due diligence task for the owners, which cannot be delegated to ship's command, which is really strange, because in this perspective, I see lots of faces don't trust me. Read this case in the internet. It's really like that. Really, I promise. What is now the idea? What is now the thinking about that? Pretty good question. How do you check in the office that the passage plan is not effective, but you need to check that because it's not a delegable task to the captain? And what about safe navigation, which remains on the shoulders of the captain? So there are discrepancy apparently, but we talk on the one hand side about safe navigation, on the other hand side about the interpretation of the Haag-Wisby rules. So, the deeper you go into this case, the more complicated it would. I don't know how to deal with that. Well, I know how to deal with that. There are tools available which will prevent making the passage plan defective. That easy it is. And as a sidekick now, what was the root cause that this general average happened? The root cause was the T notice was not entered into the passage plan, it was not entered in the ENC. My boss, Stefan Dimke, he's very fast in ECDIS. He has this ECDIS software on his computer, and he's like a piano he's playing on that. He's really, really fast. So what he did, he made a test. He took this T notice from those days, and he printed that thing out, and he put that into his ECDIS, right? The T notice was 4 pages thick, okay? 4. It took him about 45 minutes to enter all the data into the ENC, because apparently we know with the AIO, which is, by the way, not working in Chinese waters, AIO is a disaster anyhow, so you need to have something, a tool, which makes you sure that this navigator will not decline to accept to enter T and P notice into the ECDIS, although it might be a hell of work. For one notice, 45 minutes. I mean, I don't know how many notices there are, but at least we're talking about just more than one cargo watch, which you need in order to enter all those. Long story short, the preventive action for that, if you permit me to say so, would be simply to use CIO plus PNT notices, because this product will give you any P or any T notice along your track 50 miles port and starboard side. Well, that's was a little bit broadcasting. Going back to this case, saying that the owners need to review the voyage plan as such. Voyage plans are presently here available in our system. And I'm going to number 3. Voyage plans are being here available in our system. So if you find it worth to follow the sentence of the Admiralty Court of Justice to review the passage plan from the office in order to make sure that it's not defective, but everything is entered there, you may download here simply this voyage plan. You click on this PDF thing and you see that here exactly that thing has, this thing is also in use on board ship. So again, database-wise, maritime database-wise, data center-wise, we're talking about the same data. And if you go down here, we're coming exactly to the, let me find that. Here we go with the T and P notices, right? So they're already in here. So you may check this very easily. By the way, the CMA CGM Libra case, where are we presently? The owners appealed against the sentence of the Admiralty Court of Justice, and the case went further to the Admiralty Court of Appeal, and again the Admiralty Court of Appeal found the voyage plan defective and claimed the owner. Now it will go to the High Court. The Admiralty High Court, so it's named like this, Admiralty High Court. So that's then the last court. And their sentence will then be binding. So we're looking forward what will happen next. At the moment, if you look like this on a football game, we have 2-0. We will see if then it turns to 3-2 or 3-0. I don't know. Exciting thing, exciting. Right. I'm going to close this again here. Here we go with the voyage plan, which we have in order then, as we said, the due diligence done for the voyage plan checking. Further, emergency response is always a topic, right? You need to be prepared for any emergency response. We always hope that they will not happen, but mostly it's a matter of time and not a matter of question when. Useful. Down here, the voyage plan RTZ file, which is used on board ship, can also be downloaded here. RTZ is the route exchange file as per S100 standard. So if you have in your office a eClope software on your laptop, we're always happy to write this for your emergency response room, or maybe even such a thing. We have some retrofitted stuff which we have standing somewhere. If you're interested to get such equipment in your office, let us know. Then with this RTZ file, you can simply upload the route used on board ship during the time of the incident into your emergency response team equipment thing. That's something which is, well, saving time, as we also are talking about this VP PDF downloading about saving time. Right. So what is summarizing the entire topic? What is the intention from a safe navigation perspective, and this I need to say here, because I think I forgot to do this at the very beginning, the Maritime Data Center from a Chartwell's perspective, we talk about safe navigation. We are good in ENCs. We have a sister company down there, which is called 7Cs. They are very good in this ENC production tools. 80% of the HOs worldwide are using our tools in order to produce ENCs. We are good in ACDIS, things like that. So a maritime data center for us is the main purpose is to provide safe navigation. If customers intend to upgrade then a maritime data center to bunker consumption monitoring things, then for sure there are options available in order to upgrade systems. But as we said, that's why we're focusing here on this MyFleet as the tool for the Maritime Data Center. Three main topics we have here, starting in a remote navigational audit, as we were talking in this perspective about here. Start to looking into this. By the way, OCMF is saying you may use VDR data, right? Or you may use ACDIS data. Here you have ACDIS data, and we all know, I mean, I was in a shipping company myself for 12 years. If you try to download VDR data, that's at least challenging, right? And if you want to read the VDR data in your office, it's even more challenging. And well, I don't have good experience in that, to be honest, especially after incidents. Here you got the chance to work with ACDIS data, as I said, remote navigation audit number 1, due diligence number 2, that you're checking if or not the vessel is doing what you think the vessel should do, and as per your company navigation procedures. And then last but not least, that we are, let me check this again. Right. So the due diligence, and then number 3 was the, oh, I forgot this. Sorry, it will come back. Navigation compliance, due diligence, and in order to, safeguard then your company as its best. So that's the idea behind it, actually.
May I comment? One thing just explains it. It's quite good. You have seen that Frank was changing the route in the ACDIS, and we changed the route here. And you may remember that this button or this indicator was green before. So this indicates now, just with one view, that data yellow means was delivered but not updated. So data was delivered, but nobody pressed the button on the ACDIS to do so. So it's just a warning now, but after a certain time, because we don't expect that this may be done in 2 minutes, but you can set an alarm that a notification will send. So when the status is not changed within the next 4 hours, 12 hours, then I receive a mail, and then I can drop a message, look, you didn't update your ACDIS. And I'm pretty sure the navigator the navigator will do it once, or maybe twice, but not a third time, because he would be really trapped by the shipping company. And this is what the things are about, just to raise the attention for the navigator to fulfill his job in a good order. And this is what I experienced in the past when I was sailing on the ship, that you always are a kind of quite convenient position, because you were not very traceable for anybody. So, and that's I think it's a problem, and it's not being like the one pointing on the people, but I think navigators are quite busy with a lot of tasks, and when you just have 6 hours of cargo watch, you just need to prepare a voyage, and you may have this stressful situation. Things getting lost, and this is good to have a view on those things, to say you forgot something in your procedure, and this reminder will keep they will remember this, and I think they will not do it a third time, so it will not happen. People will remember exactly those things, and this is what I think it's quite helpful. And another thing is, you may see here the column onboard solution. So all the products mentioned by Frank can be used independently from each other, but they come then with a certain limitation. For example, Myra doesn't know anything alone from the ECDIS, so it just says we delivered everything, but we don't know if the people really installed those things. But the connected ECDIS can exactly tell you these things. It's delivered, but it's not installed, and that's why this nav cloud or this data center comes with a lot of integration to have a real picture of the situation. So that's just I wanted to point out and to highlight.
Thank you much.
Yeah,
do you have any questions? Yeah, Christian.
For investigation purpose, what AIS data are possible to include to see other vessels in case there was an accident with another vessel? You have some provider
Well, actually, at the present stage, we poll the vessel as per the frequency of the UKHO PACE service, and even more. I think we are presently with 15 minutes minimum per.
It can be set in the back office depending on that.
Right. What we do not have actually is that in the history track of the vessel, other IAS data is being displayed from other ships. Yeah. So this we do not have at the moment. It is on the agenda already. Yeah. It will be available soon, but not presently.
Not retrospectively. Just real time.
Real time, yeah.
We have integrated that you can see the situation, but not retrospectively. So it's not recorded anywhere.
And you work with somebody together to get the data, or you?
We buy in this data, yeah. Absolutely. This is the now position, now situation. But as Florian was saying, it will not be available in the history track.
No picture about the past.
No.
Not even if there's a radar overlay or if with the own ECDIS, with the own AIS of the vessel.
There are things there work quite a bit of planning to integrate those things into into this product, but it's quite tricky because the chart data you have is not comparable with what you have in the ECDIS. It's an ENC, but of course it's not an ECDIS standard. So the idea is to emulate in the background an ECDIS, so you can download this data from the vessel and show it in an emulated ECDIS. So we have the ECDIS standard to review. This is the path I think we will go in future, and this will come within the next time.
So, but your ECDIS is capable of doing a voyage replay. On the voyage replay, I do have all ARPA targets and AIS targets. So you're working to compare that, so I can see it in the office as well. The voyage replay.
This is what we intend to do. Yes.
But I cannot see it on direct on remote, right? I need it first the data from the vessel, and then I need the ECDIS to
Presently, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Meaning for my audit, if I'm doing an audit, I can only see the track of my vessel, but not if he's deviating to starboard. I don't see the reason that might have been another vessel that he wanted to avoid collision of. That's why he deviated.
I think this audit part you can do currently in a full scope is voyage planning audits. Yeah. So you can understand, okay, this was planned, and because when you look to a voyage plan, you can as well see so what's happening. So you can see when was a voyage plan created, when was it modified, when was it an update received, so you can keep track of those things, and you can see if he's following his track. So these things can be done, and you can review the voyage plan. But everything which comes with execution, you can do, of course, post analytics for groundings. But we purposely decided to don't have real time tracking because it will not bring too much benefit from our point of view. Not at this current stage.
But you have a good point. I mean, this is a good example for this Motor Tanker Pacific case, right? Motor Tanker Pacific was coming from Indonesia, going down to Australia, if I'm not mistaken, and they decided to deviate significantly from the voyage plan, Roger. but then they remained on their track as they were already deviating and simply proceeded in parallel to the initial track of 5-6 miles. And this ended up in a way that this vessel, for those which maybe have not heard of this case, the vessel was proceeding in the Catstock Charlie area, right? And you have a horizontal accuracy of 500 meters. And there was one isolated danger. And this isolated danger, they passed with a berth of 200 meters, which is apparently less than 500 meters. So this isolated danger, which is around 500 meters of the charted position, was hit in a distance of 200 meters from the charted position. And this and this would be then concerning. I would not be concerned, to be honest, if the vessel would deviate from the road because of give way or something, as long as the vessel is going back then on the initial track, right, on the initial voyage plan, and resuming the voyage plan as per plans. If they would remain, 5 miles, as I just explained, 5 miles off the track, then something is wrong, then the understanding of crew is not correct.
But then we know the root cause was the avoidance of a collision.
At the very beginning, right, and then it comes further if or not the vessel intended to go back on the initial track, on the planned route or not. And if they did not, then,
Yeah, but as you said, the root cause was missing because we can't see the AIS target in retrospective.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yes, please.
One small question. You are focusing here in the fleet monitoring, if I understand it correctly, simply on accident avoidance or in retrospect to do a review of it. The Fleet Operations Center are luckily more interested in fleet optimization and are trying to monitor, as far as I even targeting with shipping lines, seeing when a captain is deviating from route, why is he doing it, and what does it do with the efficiency of that route. So is there also the intention to include monitoring not because of danger but because of potential effects on the efficiency of the voyage, pollution, CO2 footprint, fuel consumption, and things like that?
Yes and no. Optimization, for example, route optimization is not. We don't do route optimization by weather. We have certain partners doing this for us. So we're using Myra to create a route which is optimized. There are ideas to integrate other third-party services when it comes to for example, maybe something like Siemens to do engine optimization services, but it will be third-party integrations. So we are not optimizers. Our task is navigation, and this is what we want to do. The important thing to understand, or what I want to say, is this nav cloud we have is the very, very first beginning of this complete integration of process. Because first we need to align the pictures on all parties. This doesn't happen. So so the ship, the owners, and the charterers needs to have the same picture of the things going on. So and then it comes to this communication part. So how we communicate with each other. So we have an integrated actors which transfers data back in this loop. But there are a lot of other things in the pipe and coming up in the future to start this communication to each other. And I think from this nav cloud idea, we have just a part yet to achieve. And there's so many possibilities and so many directions you could go. So the question is, should we go in all this direction? And this needs to be clarified. And that's why we have such workshops and these discussions to understand what is the need of the user of the shipping companies and how we align those three parties in one product, because this is very difficult to bring charterers, operators, and ships in one product.
One follow-on question, if I may. We have the other two workshops talking about dynamically established distribution and dynamic route optimization. When I do dynamic route optimization, and for example, our exchange with the US 421 standard and so forth, how often can you actually exchange those information? When is this? Because if it is dynamic, it may change throughout the route continuously.
Yes.
Is the intention that you actually send it then here and you continuously move your routes? Is the dynamic change still safe? How do you monitor it and so on and so forth?
Yeah. So when you change the route in the ECDIS, it will be a push process, so it's directly, it will be triggered to be processed, to be displayed. I think data positions, depending on the settings, it's in 15 minutes intervals, but at the back end and the front end on the vessel, front end means the ECDIS will push data actively. So when data updates, ENC updates are available, it will be pushed automatically to the vessel immediately. So when it's from the ship, it will be pushed immediately. Besides the standard intervals selected.
Right, and now we... Siemens, are we ready for that?
We're ready, and the people on the ship are ready too.
Okay, then we postpone it maybe for after the Holo thing, HoloLens thing.
Might be very important for the
Okay.
Can I join you?
Yeah, sure, please do so.
So I think maybe chose the worst place to thanks.
You choose my computer or you want to do?
I need my own.
Good.
Because we're in the team session.
Right.
Just need the HDMI cable. Okay, I need the HDMI cable so that you can see what I see. Thank you. Ben, can you hear me on the ship?
I can hear you, but unfortunately our guest cannot, so please be as visual as possible.
Okay.
Ich sehe gar nichts. In die andere Richtung.
Welcome from my side. My name is Viktor Schober. I'm here from Siemens Energy. Can we talk about it? So we're here from Siemens Energy today, showing a bit of our digitalization capabilities, and so we'll test here and I'm happy to be with you. What we want to show you now is how we do remote assist, so how we can help our customers who are on vessels across the world or maybe in factories. Myself, we're from the department of the business unit of process solutions, so different verticals like marine, offshore, onshore, etc. But this, what we can see here, is especially very well for service on vessels, because we don't have to fly there to any harbor and visit the ship, but we can help our customers directly. And what we see now is our friend, now he plays our customer, Ben, has the HoloLens on his head, so we can see what he sees. And Ben, this is an augmented reality device, so he can see a screen virtually in his field of view. And now we can ask him what's the problem that he has, our customer. So, hello Ben.
Hi Victor.
Hi. So you called the Siemens Energy remote support. So what's the problem here on the vessel?
Yes, we have a very intense. So my colleague Patrick just had a presentation on the World ECDIS Days,
Okay.
and I can see and I can tell he's very exhausted, and that's needs a refreshment. So is there any supply of water?
Okay, so let me check.
Or anything on board?
Okay, let me check first. I have some plans from the ship, and we'll see how I can assist you here. So I will share my screen, and
who's that?
that's an assistant. She will guide you and help us if we need to understand how the HoloLens works. But I want to use the ship plan now. So as you can see here on the small window, Ben also sees now what we see on the screen, what we share with him. He can see that. And as I can see on the ship, Ben, there's a bar in the what's the correct term? In the galley. In the rear of the vessel. I'm not from Marine. I'm not from Hamburg. Sorry for that. So could you go there to the rear of the vessel and maybe to the bar?
Okay, so I will take you with me.
Yes.
And unping.
We will change the screen here so that the people can see what you see again. I will stop sharing. Sorry, I stopped sharing, but we already found the right way for you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine too.
Really crowded over there.
So.
Okay, so let me share again. I have some more information for you. Yeah, according to my documentation, there must be some kind of fridge with fresh refreshments. Can you see that on your side?
I can see, but unfortunately
we have to say Ben is a very unexperienced user right now in the morning, so we only had one half day of training. Maybe if you go back and pinch, it's easier.
Okay. Try to grab it this way. No.
Yeah, now you got it. So.
Okay. So this is the fridge.
This is the fridge. You found one, okay, so I stop sharing that we see better what you see there. Okay, there's the fridge. That's great. Can you just...
But I don't think everything is good before lunch.
Okay, let me see. Can you look a little bit up? A little bit only. Okay, stop. Yeah, so what I found here is you have something without alcohol. Should be this one. Let me see, did it work? No, I think I have to do again, sorry for that. I have some problem, I will do something else. No, obviously it doesn't work right now. So there should be an arrow fixed to the position in the room and staying there on the same position. I don't know why it doesn't work right now. It's Microsoft's fault, not ours. So, yeah, I have to guide you with voice. So take the small bottle, yeah, that is without alcohol, and maybe that's the right thing for Patrick then. Yes, that's the one. So the window that you see here will follow. You can unpin the window so that it follows you again. So if our client, the person who needs help, moves on the vessel or in the facility, he or she is followed by the screen, so they can go anywhere. So let's go to Patrick then, I think.
Okay.
That will help him. Okay, that's it. So I think you get the idea. So this is the technology that we use.
Yeah, we are German.
Yeah. So we will have in the hotel, I think the facility there, we will have the HoloLens and our PCs. So it works with Microsoft Teams. It's a Microsoft product, and you can all try it out if you want to in the afternoon after lunch. So just visit us, come by, and it's really interesting to use that device. I think it will be mainstream in a few years, but we already use that in industry for our customers because it's very useful for us and for them.
Okay, what's going on here now?
Yeah, and we have that in place already with customers from big cruise lines who use that and who save costs by having us not to travel there. Of course, they try to fix all the problems as they can do alone without paying for the service, but if they need us, they can get the service really fast. And we also offer the managed service, so the device, we offer the devices to our customers, we manage the platform for them, give them user rights, we help it open so that they can also share access with third parties, so they don't only have Siemens Energy where they need support from, but we don't want them to have like 20 HoloLenses on board, but just one, and they can use it with third parties. And what you just saw is so-called remote assist. So it's audio-video collaboration, so that you can get in touch with somebody. It's really easy to use, so you can write it. The second big use case that we have is guidance. That means that you can create some guides that you can then later share with what people can then learn from this guide. So you can make, you can record something at the facility, so like on the ship, maybe there's a big switchboard there, and then you can create a guide and mark things and then say this is the button to turn it on, and you can make arrows on the ground to guide the people to even find the right spot, and then to have things that they can do there. So it's like training, you could say. And we also offer a web platform so that's already one video. So we offer a web platform for our customers, which has a user interface that's really easy to use with the fingers on the HoloLens. If you try it later, you will see it's not so easy to press little buttons. So we make this user interface, which is really, really huge. And they get some information. They can watch videos, access content, and also reach us for support. So if the person has the HoloLens on their head and they need help from Siemens Energy, they can just go here and create a meeting with one click and fill in only a few things so that they can reach us really easily. Yeah, I don't know what's the timing for today, so how much more I should share with you. I could show you one or two videos, really short ones. But other than that, I think from the demonstration we're through.
And one question.
Yes, please.
Do you have experience with satellite navigation, satellite communication? I mean, regarding latency and so on?
Yes. So actually, we have a customer who is right now, he's a superintendent, and he's right now not on the ships, but he's in Canada, but in a really rural area, and he uses satellite internet over there, two different ones. The one from Elon Musk, Starlink, and another one. And it works well, so it depends. Sometimes a little bit better, sometimes worse. We don't use the video then for ourselves. Now I also shared my video. It's not necessary, but it works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For the guides, just that because the remote support you just saw, for the guides that looks like this. I think we don't get the sound by the HDMI. So, and this video player is also built for the use on the HoloLens, so with a real huge scroll bar and everything, so that you can watch it on the HoloLens if you need something. So, we do like this because we can hear the colleagues. Sorry. So, I jump back and show you something. You can create guides, and it says here that you should search for the QR code to start the guide. And the QR code is necessary for the orientation in the room, so that the guide is aligned correctly to the objects in the room. So here you can now see the QR code, which is positioned on the device, for example. And if the QR code is scanned, then the guide, so this virtual hand here, points to the right place in the room because of the alignment of the QR code in the beginning. So now you can give step-by-step instructions with some information, with screenshots and text information to guide somebody without help of a human on the other side. So it's just a training, so to say. And we can also create such guides for, that short showcase, we can create such guides for our customers on the vessel. Like when they build a new vessel, we can already create the guides to lead them through our equipment that we have there. And if they make a crew change, for example, after 3 months, the new crew can use the HoloLens and watch the guides. That's more or less from my side what we wanted to show you. I think the HoloLens is also now not in the call. Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you much.
Thank you too. And you see each other later. You can try the HoloLens, it's fun. Okay.
so, kommt schon, ist so gut. Ja, klar. Achtung, ich arbeite dran.
Okay, very well. So after this very interesting demonstration from Siemens, we make something not so fancy, but very useful. I open a demo for you. So we created a demo for our ELOG. ELOG means electronic logbook. You can use it on your mobile phone later on. It's free to use anytime. It's unschütz and -elog.de, and there are 5 demonstration areas or ships. Please use one of them, because otherwise you would, everybody at the same time would use the same. It would be quite fancy. It would work, but it would be a bit fancy. So let's start. I open the demo, and what you can see here is the starting screen, which is at the night mode at the moment. So I switch to day mode. So this is the interface of our electronic logbook, which is browser-based, so you can use it from any device. You can use it from a laptop or mobile phone. If you want to try it right now, you can do. And the first question is the device name, because of course we have to give this special device a name that the ELOG behind the know from which device it's coming. So we call this one Frank, was correct? So we call it Frank's one. This is only one time. And then this is the normal starting screen, username and password. Every user who put in information need to be clear, so every user has their own access. For the demonstration, we made it easier, so we take the master. This is the wrong use. It's false use, but it's easier for everybody to remember the username, so master or operator. But normally there should, for example, Volker Wenzel. So my username would be Volker, for example, and the clear name would be Volker Wenzel, and a password. Password, this time password. So we are out of every security story, but it's for demonstration only. Of course, you need a real password. And then we are in our ELOG, in our electronic logbook. What you can see at the moment, we have a DEC logbook, we have a bell book, which is a kind of filter function for us. Behind there are the same entries possible. We have an all records function, we have a noon report. Because we are at the moment as master, we can change vessel particulars, the crew list, the voyage status. We have a user management where we can put more user in. As operator, of course, you have lesser options. So now just start. We want to do a new record in the DEC logbook. You see here already some records. As you can see, SM means system, so this is automated entrance from navigation and weather. So we just do one new one, and just to be in the story of Frank, we as a captain, we decide we have a deviation, and we call it deviation due distress of whatever, Titanic. We put it in the deck logbook, and the automated position is inside, speed over ground is there, and we save it. So you see here is deviation due to distress of Titanic. This list of entrances can be seen from cloud service, so it's the same view but without this plus button, because of course from shore nobody is allowed to put entries, but it's the same view. And if it's more, because there are a lot of entrances and it's a while ago, you can even search for it. So we just press in deviation, and because we have not so many entrances like this, I did a mistake, deviation, you directly see deviation and you see, okay, this vessel deviated because of distress. You open it and then you see the position, and you see here it's the original entry from master. So now we want to change something. It's distress of Titanic via whatever, GMDSS alert, and we save it, and then we see we have original, and 1 minute later we have an amendment. So all the changes are, of course, can be seen, and also the original can always be opened up again. Just to go back, we have all traditional possible entries. I used the free entry for deviation and titled it, but of course we have pre-prepared entries. Let's see, mooring, we want to depart. So before departure, we have two options. We can make a free text. We can make the statement for ship safety and integrity. And later we look at line handling. So mooring, departure, line handling. For example, you can write anything here inside, but as an option you can make single up, for example. Single up, the time is there, we save. Oh, this may be not the correct one that's in the deck logbook, would be more on the bell book, but never mind. So you see departure, line handling, single up. You go further, next one would be mooring, departure, line handling, all lines on deck, save. Next one, mooring, departure from Hamburg. Oh, I did Hamburg. Save. You see, departure from Hamburg. And next would be then swinging, for example, whatever, over port bow. We just do it for. I made it on purpose very fast because it's fast. And then we do sailing breakwater on starboard side, and now we are off. Passing breakwater, starboard side. It's of course for Hamburg it's not, would be more like Italian waters or so. There it's like this, you just depart, swing, go. And the same story we can do further. We go, we are now on sea, so at sea, we begin a sea passage. We have to put here something, so begin. And now this beginning of sea passage is locked. And so on. So all traditional entries you can do. And if you use the cloud, you can see anything what is in there, but you don't need to. You also can use just the traditional export function as Excel or PDF. Let's use as Excel. And there you see we have information. So, okay, the vessel name is missing and the voyage because I did not prepare it for this one, but here we have the information. Then we have all navigation information. So everything what is feed in. We have two options. You can use AIS as automatic feed in, or you can use the INS, so integrated bridge. Anything what you get, we can work with, let's say. And on the right side, you see the author, you see the approval, because we did no approval at all. So the chief mate and the master did not approve anything, so you see a false here. And then you see any other records, for example, all weather observation, all free entries, deviation, for example, and all moorings. So when you are in discussion with the charterer, you just look in this in your file, you filter for weather observation, and because here it's automatic, it's every hour, but of course any weather observation can be done also manually. You can just look, okay, what happened there, what is the information there, and you can directly show what changed and have this information on hand for any discussion with charter or whatever, or in the situation with the deviation situation. This was short and quick.
Maybe you could say something to the technical side.
Yeah, I can do so. What we see here is the interface. The interface is browser-based. You can use any browser and also any, like I said, any device what you have already on board, like a computer or mobile phones, tablets, whatever. You just, from Anschutz is only coming a small gateway computer, size like this. It's installed on board, connected to the AIS or INS, as I said. There are two hard disks inside, so it's the data is double saved. And the user need only what is there or what you want to be used on board. So, for example, the bridge computer or something. This is out of our hands. We just have this small gateway computer, and the security we provide by a blockchain technology. So this technology is, in our understanding, is made for this. Blockchain is first entry, and every entry which comes after every change is locked. Any questions so far? Yes, please.
Yeah, how you monitor change of course?
Change of course? Yeah, I can. New ordered course 140.
Okay.
This is the easiest, fastest way. So we have.
I mean, it's an Anschutz product. Don't you want to connect it to your gyro?
Yeah.
Automated by limits.
Automated connect. I mean.
Yeah, this is the other. The route monitoring is possible if you have a Anschutz bridge. You can use this route monitoring. It's coming from the ECDIS, but it's only possible if you have an Anschutz bridge because of the connection or the integration. So we have a route monitoring option. So you see planned course, but it's only possible in the integration. But we have a standalone solution, so on every other bridge you can do any information by hand.
So you have that approved by any class or flag?
Yes, we do have GL and the German flag and other flags. For example, Denmark don't provide any approval. You can use on a Danish ship, you can use electronic logbook with any approval. But we have a German approval, we have a GL or DNV approval. Yes, please.
I do see that the automatic entry provides time of entry, right?
Correct.
Can I change it? Questions sometimes may happen and 15 minutes later we think, oh, we have to document it. Can we date it back?
Yes, you can.
Great.
Retrieve data from time.
Yeah.
And you do 3 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It's of course a warning.
Yeah.
Continue, and then it takes.
And it also takes the position for that point of time.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So the situation hand over is easy to solve. Yes, please.
Is it possible to customize the quick entries? For example, you have always a repetition of the same things, pilot on board, pilot on the bridge, first line ashore, stuff like this. So it's always the same things you need to add.
Not yet, but we are planning to make possible that you make it like shortcuts for your preferred entries.
I work quite a lot with electronic variables, and the benefit is
AIDA.
Yes. The real benefit is quick entries were always repetitions. The negative side was always to enter manual position plottings and stuff like this.
Yeah.
By distance it varies, so this was always quite challenging.
Ralph is calling you. We have, for example, this manual entry. We can do a manual position fix, for example. We also have here as a traditional way. Yes, please.
Yeah, once again, many companies have reporting requirements. There are also software tools. Is there a plugin? For example, the GL Navigator with
interesting topic. We have this. One more. We have a noon report, but it's really basic. But the cloud solution is working on API, so it's an open format. So we can possibly connect to any monitoring or optimization tools. We are in contact with some companies, or at least one in Closer, but we are not finished with that. But we are planning to make this easy possible. We don't want to have one company. We want to be open for.
Is there also an engine logbook?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
But yeah, it would be one of the next ones, of course.
I'm just using GeoChip Manager, and I think it would be strange to enter here first line and then move to the next computer, open new program, and type and everything again.
No, in my vision, this would be the interface. You don't need to go to the next PC because it's useless to note on a paper or take it and write some numbers somewhere which is there as data. This is useless.
We've got the central data and event management.
Yeah. And this, of course, in my opinion, this is the logbook. Yeah. This is made for this central data management tool.
Is the timestamp of these entries, is that coordinated with the VDR so that we can always exact the same times of entries?
It's coming from the AIS, from the GPS time. So, it should be the same.
It should be the same time like all records in the VDR, right?
Yeah, and you can save this data in the VDR.
Okay. Is it possible to make like checklists inside like for departure? Because every company has their own checklist more or less.
Yeah.
For departure, that you have this departure checklist done as per blah 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 and so on.
Yeah. So at the moment we solved it in a basic way. So here's the checklist. So here you can write checklist number, what you usually do. But the next step in next year, we will have a upload solution, so you can use your own checklist as PDF and upload it when it's finished. Upload it directly in this field here on down, and then you write a checklist done, number whatever, and then the checklist is saved on this entry as PDF or whatever you prefer.
But can you do it directly? Like what I have a mobile phone, then I'm now on the bridge, and then I'm doing the checks, and I can click on the.
You mean integrated in the software?
And the system see, okay, done. Then popping up, check done automatically.
No, we didn't do that. But it's interesting input. Yeah, as an automated connection, like.
Because then, what to say? Then we close the circle for ticking only. Or okay, we just ticket it right there, but then we have a timestamp, etc., and then we really see when this was done at the end, and not just okay days later. Maybe.
Yeah, I understand. No, thank you for the input. It's interesting. Yeah. Well.
Since you're using it also as a phone, and it's obviously you can use it on the mobile devices, do you provide also the connection between the mobile device and this computer? Because otherwise, the problem is always if you go alongside, then someone picking notes on paper, and then later are going to the bellbook.
Exactly.
And if you have a big computer screen, then
this is the idea. So you can use any device, what you like. We don't provide the device. We only provide the application, and let's call it server, the gateway computer, on the bridge. So if you want, or your ship's crew want to use a tablet in maneuvering situation, they can do. You just need the Wi-Fi on board, which is up on your decision.
But this Wi-Fi is not.
It's not part of our business. Yeah.
But there's any offline version? I mean, I do it in a logbook. I mean, in a mobile phone. Then just connect it, and then you just upload all the data. And if beside of the Wi-Fi, because when you have a feeder ship and so on, Wi-Fi is far away.
No, not internal Wi-Fi. Ship's network. You need a ship's network. Any ship network. You cannot. We cannot. You cannot. I mean, you need any connection to our gateway computer. This you need. You need any Wi-Fi or cable to the gateway on board.
But it's a local network, you're not dependent.
A local network. Locally,
so you communicate with the tool over the technique of Wi-Fi, but not using a satellite.
Of course, if the Wi-Fi connection is lost because of some wall or whatever, then the entries will put in later on.
So
it's synchronized. So the mobile, the device is synchronized also later on.
So just to follow up on this, so you entered in the interface, it's stored on the gateway, and once you have established internet connection to outside, then it's transferred to another server where the office can have a look at it.
It is like this.
How about the watch plan arrangement and all that stuff?
No, not yet. No, but you mean
there's more rules on watch.
Roles. We have roles, but not the watch plan schedule. We don't have like this.
Okay, but you can enter like AB things on second mate on duty.
Yes, you can. At sea. Sorry, now I'm lost. Watch handover, and we take over the watch. Take over the watch from whatever, Müller, and here because I'm as master at the moment. This is my role, so I'm here, and this is my name. So this one I could also change it, but master. Let's make it like this. Here we have the AB. We call it myself. Hamson we leave out. The author is master because I am the master at the moment. And we save. And now you have it. So lookout is their takeover from someone, and the officer on the watch is the person who did this entry.
But it's also when you enter the crew list, you have the names available, and then you just.
It's not yet linked, but yeah, also we will plan. So this is a product which develops all the time. So any input from possible users we will take, and we will try to make it better. Yes, please.
At a time, can only one user access the logbook, or is it
No.
You have 5 users?
Yes, you can. You can write it all the time.
Is there any possibility then in the background, if, for instance, logbook entries would conflict with each other?
I cannot imagine a situation. You mean like 2 possible positions are like this?
Yeah.
There's a solution for solving this, because any entry, as you can see here, must be approved by chief mate and master. So if this situation would be that there are 2 entries which might conflict, it's chief mate's and master's decision to approve one and skip the other. Yes, please.
Just going back what you were saying, so it's more or less a web-based application, which means if you do not have web access, it doesn't work.
No, that's not correct. That's not correct.
Okay, but
this is a browser. A browser is only a tool to get access to a working environment. So internet can also used as intranet, as local application.
But if you do not, so going back to what you were saying, I have, for example, I'm using Evernote to store my notes. If I don't have connectivity to anything with my smartphone right now, I can enter my notes, for example, what we are doing here, and as soon as I connect, it will be uploaded.
Correct.
It will. You do not have an app here where you can store those. If you do not have connectivity to.
No, you have.
But you have, for example, Safari or something on your phone, and this you can use that on Safari.
Yeah,
and,
right.
You don't need an internet connection to it.
Yeah, but where do you get the information, for example, the pull-downs and so on and so forth, if you do not have stored it here?
It's on the getaway.
It's on
yeah, but if you do not have connection to the getaway.
It's locally on the vessel, so you.
Yes, but again.
You see it here. You see here is a small Wi-Fi signal. Which when this one is skipped, you don't have the connection, but it's locally saved and synchronized when it gets the connection back to the gateway.
It's locally synchronized on the ship, but not locally synchronized on my device.
So there's no offline version.
There's no offline version.
Okay.
So meaning if he's forward dropping the anchor and says anchor dropped, he can't access the browser version as well.
If he has no connection,
yes.
No.
That is what I mean. That is what I mean.
You don't take your back to the anchor.
No, just as an example.
Yeah, but it's very.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
Or you just establish a Wi-Fi up to.
If you're trying to put something in on your 400-meter container ship and you're trying to see what is going on and you are away from the bridge for 200 meters with containers beneath you, you may not have those connectivities, which means you have to write something down on the paper or on your notes, then go back and enter it here when you have connectivity.
Yeah.
Okay, just understand.
But on the other hand, I mean, we should start to think more advanced and more digital in this way. And why we don't give the second wake forward or the surfing the device, and you can write down fast and the name properly. You know via VHF, you know where to sell. What name? Please spell what name? Yeah. So we can just enter it and that's it, and then can be uploaded later on and passing breakwater, etc. Yeah.
Is clearer seen by the guy forward.
Yeah. Exactly. So.
So an app, in addition, would be a nice thing to have a tool.
Yeah.
Meaning everybody on board can take records and upload them later.
Mm-hmm.
This is what one doing. They have an app for arrival, departure, etc. You just click the button and that's it, and then they have a timestamp, position where you are, and that's it, and it's quite nice.
Mm-hmm. I take the input. Like I said, it's developed.
Especially for cargo watch, where you move around the deck.
Yeah, we have the cargo.
CA18 made fast. Here you have a picture of it.
Can you upload attachments? That's my next question.
Yeah, not yet. This will be the next step in next year. The hardware is ready for it. The application is not yet. So the hardware is ready. So for us, it's an easy step.
Just you can just share things with Office. Just have a
tornado on the porch.
deviation from the rules.
Can you maybe go back?
Yes.
Port operation?
To port operation?
Yeah. And then for stress and stability? I mean, you work on the connectivity with loading computers? Upload the data because for what to make the again.
That's the point why we want to have this upload function, because then we don't need any connectivity to just take the report from whatever Mac sees as PDF, put it here, finish story.
Why not XML? Then you have the data.
Or XML, whatever. I don't care about data format. I just care about the data size.
Okay.
Because of course you need. We store this data 2 years, so we have to decide what is the maximum size of one data file which we upload. So this is the limit. So
2 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
We have to store it way longer.
No, this is according to ISO 21745, so the ISO norm for electronic logbooks, which is 2 years. You can.
Okay, I do have logbooks in my warehouse that are almost 10 years old.
Yeah, 5 years. Yeah, 5 years. But you can of course just download the data and store it on a server in the company.
And if I forget, I have a problem.
Yes.
Okay, because I gotta save the logbooks through the lifetime of the vessel.
So we need, on board. If you use the cloud, you can of course make it longer.
But meaning that to save on board, I need to save on a hard drive, correct?
Yeah.
And it's possible on 2, because that
it is.
Hard drive might get.
It's two hard drives.
Yeah, but so meaning ashore, it's only 2 years. On board,
on board is 2 years.
On board 2 years.
According to the standard.
Okay.
So we follow the standard. Yes, please.
Is the VR connection compulsory or optional? Background is, if I have to leave the ship, how do I grab my logbook?
It's optional.
Okay, so let us assume
you don't have to pay for it.
I have no VR storage of my records, and I'm using your two hard drives think. Now the ship is sinking, and I'm grabbing all my stuff.
Yeah.
How do I just put them into the hard drive?
You have to take out
it's technically possible.
You have to take the gateway with you. If you don't connect it to the VDR, but the idea is to connect it to the VDR. Yeah. Sure. And use the cloud, of course.
But cloud is optional.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we in time or?
We are minimum overrun, I would say.
1 minute.
But I think we deserve now a good lunch.
But I ask myself again, why we have to put again the data inside when we have the data from Navis from a loaded computer?
Because Navis is another company, and they do not talk directly with us, but we are working on it. Yes. Because you're absolutely right. It makes no sense to type in data. It makes no sense. Yeah.
You guys do crew data, etc. Could you just upload? You have it.
Yes. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. I totally agree. But this is the problem about different companies and different approaches of data. Thank you. Just one thing. So everybody can use the demo if anybody wants to try it out. It's easy to remember. It's our company name, Anschütz, with UE minus elog.de. Now I changed to German. And there you can just go in. It's open for the next, I think, some weeks. So
the passwords again. So you can log in as master, or as operator, or even as chief. And then the password is always
password. Or you just ask me in the foyer. I'm there. Thank you very much.
And we are happy to receive more inputs. As you can see, we published this as a basic version, and it's evolving, developing, and we are happy to receive your comments and inputs on that. The idea behind it is also to customize it whenever it's required, which means we need to talk to you. What are your specific company requirements for the local? Okay, so in the afternoon you can see it also in the foyer and talk to us and get a
Now let's go to lunch.